So last but not least, let us finally see the big deal behind Borderlands, right?
Okay, well, I did not
So,
watch this at all.
oh,
Skip
you
this
did? Oh, you
completely.
didn't? Oh,
No, yeah, and I don't watch this. I with me some time with this bullshit, Yamato.
no, I genuinely thought you were going to be the type that would have. All right, I'll put it
Nope.
like this, right? So just to kick things off, just to kick off my review, right? So at this moment, I have not seen Madam Web. I
Well,
could
I
have
still didn't watch
seen
that
it.
yet either. I still
Yeah,
didn't watch that.
I could have seen it when it came out on VOD. I sure as hell was not going to watch it after Carnival when it
No.
dropped. I was not going to do that. As I said, it was either this or Bob Marley One Love. I chose One Love,
Right,
right? And that
exactly. I
was that.
watched that. Yeah, right. Why
Yeah.
watch Yamato for? Enough.
But why I'm saying all this though is that it's all the bad reviews and all the vitriol that was brought up of this. Oh,
Right.
it's such a terrible film. So like by the time you just they're like, all right, well, okay, so when it come out on VOD, I have to see it. I have to see it for myself and see how bad it is, right? But I still have not watched no matter what. But I'll give you the reason why. Because the whole discussion behind it, the discourse behind it is done. We've gone past the Chris Tuckman stuff, and oh, this is what everybody's saying about Madam Web, and this is what Sony doing to Spider-Man. We've long past that. I addressed the whole Chris Tuckman stuff, but I mean that was it. I moved on, right? But I will, if I feel to, watch it by year's end. So like by then, I wouldn't. It's just like, oh yeah, I was supposed to watch this, right? Similar to Morbius, right? I wait till like the end of the year to watch Morbius. Like, yeah, shit. So it was like that, right? But when it came to Borderlands, now I was like, all right, I want to do a little bit some. I want to do something a bit different. I want to see it as it dropped. I want to understand from. Well, I should say when it dropped on VOD, right? I want to see for myself what was the problem.
Right.
And I literally watched it last night, and I saw what the problem was. So I'm not even gonna bother to get into synopsis and whatnot. And you can button here at this point, but surprise, surprise, I've never played any Borderlands games. I am
Okay.
familiar, I kind of marginally familiar with the game in terms of how it looks, the gameplay, all of that, but I don't know much about the world of Borderlands. I get it. It's supposed to be this hyper stylized Mad Max style kind of story,
Right.
very
Right.
ultra violent, very darkly funny and all that kind of stuff. But I never play any of the Borderlands games, right? I sat through 95 minutes of this movie and I came out of it with little or no idea about what the game is about.
Right. You still don't know.
I had to watch
I
other people's reviews to find out that the characters that I saw in that film were actually characters in the game.
right.
Because sorry, while I was watching this, they did not feel like characters from the game. Imagine that. You never played the games before and you watching a show play out from start to end. They're like, wait, these characters actually belong in this game? You don't
Right.
even know that, right? And that is just to show just how lazy and uninspired and
I
half-assed
heard
the storytelling was, but
comparison I heard is that it's like watching a comic book movie from the 90s. Like as far as comic book movies concerned, it's very aggressive. That's what I heard. So it's like
in
okay.
in in, in a way, in a
Yeah,
way,
it's
it
like one
is.
of those things that just don't translate at all because it's like the movie people just wanted to do their own thing and didn't
Yeah.
care one way or the other.
And one particular reviewer, right? I'm not gonna call him by name, right? And he actually is a huge fan of the games, right? So he was
Right.
massively disappointed by this, right? He was saying that the character representations that we see here, right? Whether it's Lilith, who's played by McGill Kate Blanchett, or Roland, who is played by everybody boy except mine for some reason, Kevin Hart, or Tiny Tina, who is played by Ariana Greenblatt. Sorry, you remember her from Barbie and Avengers Infinity War. She was there. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did not look or sound or feel like the characters that they were in the game. And I'm just there hearing this like, so what was going on? So what was the point of making this if they wasn't even going to stay true to the essence of the game? What's the point, right? So the first red flag for everybody when they found out that this movie was going to be out, right? Because even when I saw the first trailer, I was like, all right, okay, all right. And then I see Eli Roth, I say,
Yeah.
Eli. I mean,
Mm.
no, I'm not hating towards the man, right? But when you know his style of filmmaking, you know he is an R guy, right? He's an R-rated guy. Everything the
Right.
man put out, I think, is R, right?
Right.
Um,
Also, I heard is that this movie had a ton of like behind the scenes drama. Like that's why
So I
they come out
heard,
so
yeah.
badly. Yeah, yeah.
And I think that they was making it during COVID. Well,
Right,
during
yeah. It's
COVID
also a
period and
COVID,
whatnot.
still a COVID
Yeah,
production. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
it was though, and it kind of shows in a sense, but I'll get to that in a bit, right? But then when you hear this was a PG-13, I was shocked when I hear that. I was just shocked when I hear PG-13. I know, I mean,
Correct.
everybody knows, right? Unless you're living under a rock, or whatever. Borderlands is rated M. That's an
Correct.
M-rated game, right? So why
Well,
would you
what
make this thing PG-13? Makes no
what
sense.
makes this thing extra too is that we just get something that also very subversive of its genre in terms of being ultra violent and thing, and they absolutely nail it. Fallout.
Fallout,
Uh,
yes.
right. So I don't understand why this was the way it was. But again, more behind the scenes stuff is one of those things that came out too late for Gada. It was also another one of those, hey, this could have come out 10 years ago and might have worked maybe kind of thing. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Or or what I would say, sorry, is that it should have come out last decade, Dread, when the games
Exactly.
were
But
at its height
the
of
game stopped being
popularity.
relevant. Yeah, the game
Thank
stopped being
you.
relevant
Yeah.
a long time ago. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So like I'm just there watching this, like, why would anybody really care about this right now, right? Even though again I never played the games, right? Also, as far as just the storytelling goes, all right, let me just get to the problem with this, right? One of the big problems I had with this, right? World building. This is some of the poorest world building I have seen in a movie, especially a sci-fi movie, a video game-based movie. This is like the poorest example of world building I've ever seen, Dread, right? It's just words I'm hearing, right? I'm
Right.
hearing about, vault
Yeah.
hunters
That's a
and
gobbledygook here.
yeah, I'm hearing about Pandora. I'm hearing about psychos. I'm hearing about this thing and that thing. And I'm just there like, you're telling me these things, but you're not giving me enough time for me to digest what you're telling me. It expects now that I'm supposed to care about what's going on because, you have an A-list actor, playing the character or whatnot, right? But you're telling me things and you're telling me words and I'm just there supposed to understand it, right? And the excuse is, well, it's a sci-fi movie, so eventually when you watch it, you'll see what it is, and that's the idea, right? I'm just like, well, no, that's not enough. You can't just tell me in one line, oh, this is why this matters, and then I'm just watching this thing and like I don't care. I just don't care about nothing, right? Um, Characterization, piss poor. This very, very
Yeah.
one note, very one dimensional characters, right? I'm watching Kate Blanchett, right? For me, one of my favorite actresses of all time, right? Just basically half-ass her way, snooze her way through this character, right? At least it's cool that she get to be a gunslinger and bust shots at people. I'll talk about the action in a bit, right? That's cool, but boy, like in terms of just the dialogue, and I should mention too, dialogue, some of the most stilted that I've heard in a long while, Dread. So robotic, so lifeless, Dread. And it just feel like it should not come out of the mouth of these actors, right? Even a guy like Kevin Hart, who could, make things sound funny, even he and all feels out of place in this, right?
Right.
Just and then you have characters just doing shit that they're not supposed to do, right? This is not a spoiler. This was actually in the trailer, right? But when I see it in the context, I'm like, why would you do this, right?
Yeah.
Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina, right? There's a scene where they're driving through this area of this wasteland, and Roland, right? And Kevin Hart's character is saying, pull down the windows because you have these big tremors like aliens, and they send out like this. They literally piss, right? They literally send out piss, right? And she's like, no, I'm not gonna roll up the window. It's like the name of the place is piss so. Roll up the windows or else you get wet. And she's like, no, don't tell me what to do. And then she get wet and she's like, oh my god, And that's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
They told her twice, roll up the fucking windows, and she's like, well, no, don't tell me what to do. So against character. Why would you do that? Just for a dumb joke?
Yeah.
But the character, the actor boy who suffers the most, the most egregious character in all of this way is Claptrap Dread.
Right. Right.
Now, I
That's
fucks
Jack Black, right?
with Jack Black, right? I have no problem with
Right.
Jack.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I fucks with him, right? But
Yeah.
boy, this character is so annoying, Dread. He is legit. Like people love to talk shit to this day about Jar Jar Binks. He is the Jar
Right.
Jar
Right.
Binks of this decade, Dread. Just this painfully
Wow.
annoying character who just says and does things, and it just feels so out of place. Every line he does is meant to be funny, but it just falls flat. I should say there's the humor in this show falls completely flat. There was nothing about this show that was funny. And I get it, right? I get that the show is supposed to be humorous, right? Because the nature of the game itself, right? But like, this is not dark humor, Dre. This is humor for kids, Dre. This is close to like humor for families, Dre. You know what I mean? Not like for hardcore gamers or people who know about the game. Like this is just for kids, basically, right? And that leads to the rating, right? I don't understand why this movie was watered down to be a PG-13, right? I don't understand that. You can't tell me in this day and age, oh well, it's for to get teenagers and butts and seats. It don't work like that. No, no, no. If the game is R, sorry, if the game is M, the product itself, the film itself should be R, right? So I'll throw this. Like I can't believe I'm saying this, Ricardo, and I'll wrap up my rant in a bit. I can't believe I'm saying this, right?
Right.
Halo, as much as we could talk about the
Wow.
show,
Good, I low bar,
Halo
boy.
got the point. Halo
Yeah.
got the point of what the games are. I only watch the series premiere of Halo.
Halo is a seriously
got-
low bar, though.
Yeah, I know. But even with the limited effort put into that show, at least it felt somewhat close to what the games were, Trent. I was watching this, and even though I never played a second of that game, I knew this is not Borderlands.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the thing, and that's an interesting point, right? Even as bad as the Halo TV series was, at least it translates to you, outsider, somebody who don't know the material. You translate that.
Well, to be fair, I only played the first game. I played
Okay,
the
no
first
problem.
game.
But still,
So,
like you get it, right? Like you would have get it otherwise, I think. But this is silly though. This is just like, oh, what the hell is this?
yeah,
It's just
and
gobbledygook nonsense.
I do understand why the people behind the scenes decided to water down the material like this, Shred. So
Yeah.
it doesn't cater to the fans, and the people who like me who never play the games still come out of it like just wondering what was the game about. Because that's just me. Like when I go into a video game film, whether it's a TV show or movie, I want to come out of it like, oh, okay, so that's what the game is about. Okay, I get it, right? That's similar to me and Fallout, right? Because I never
Right.
played Fallout, but I came out of the show like, oh, so that's what Fallout is. And you see how that
Yes.
show took its time and built the world, and they got the gist of the world.
Yeah. As you know it, I'm a massive fan of the Fallout franchise, and I thought it nailed it to that show.
Yeah. Like the world building for me was fantastic, Dread. But this
They
one
made
is
a bunch
just
of great decisions
so
in
lazy,
terms of like
Dread.
what you should do.
And boy, if I tell you this, you'll be shocked, right? You'll be shocked. Budget for this movie was about 120 million, Dread.
Wow.
And
that
swear to God, 120 million, yeah. And swear to God, I
Very
feel
money
like 3/4 of that money went into the pockets of
The
the
actors.
leads.
Yeah. Just to get them actors. Just to get them big names.
Because a majority of this shit look so cheap, Trent. It looks
Yeah.
so bargain basement, right?
Mhm.
And boy, they had the audacity to have numerous scenes that look in, right? And us, what a drop this title, you'll be like, oh shit. To look and feel like I watching something similar to Mad Max Fury Road or Furiosa, Dread.
Yeah.
I just watching this, right? And none of this shit look like it's shot on location. None of it look convincing, like they built real vehicles. They have a couple of like car chases and shootouts or whatnot, and none of it look real. Even the weapons on the vehicles, like there's a shot where you see Kevin Hart like pull out this like sort of like a real gun or whatever it is out of the Jeep that he's in, and that shit look fake no ras, Dread. I did like,
wow, that rough.
wow, that look rough, Dread. Again, where did the money go with this, Dread? Where the money went
rough.
with this, right? There's a few things for you, right?
I'll watch this. I'll watch this in a couple of months just to see how bad it is. But yeah, I had zero interest in this when I heard the scuttlebutt, and I was like, nah, wait. I didn't care. It was like,
the way our characters are introduced in the story so slapdash by they even waste the supporting cast. Like I was surprised to see Gina Gershon in this.
Gina Gershon in this? Okay.
Yeah, Jamie Lee
Right,
Curtis,
I know Jamie Lee Curtis
Oscar winner is in this thread. But
right.
what hurt my dread, because I actually know the actress by they get Janina Gavanka to be in this thread. And I know her from Blind Spotting, which is in my top 10 as far as best movies of the decade go. And boy, she was wasted in this though. She was just this by the numbers character, right? There's a villain who kind of pops up here there. And from what I heard, he's not even the main antagonist of the well, I think he's from the first or second game. But he's not even the villain of that game. He's just a guy who like run this industry, whatever it is. And they make he out to be the villain because as far as premise wise goes, it involves getting these 3 keys and it's supposed to open up some vault with some power involving some aliens. But you're just there like watching this and like, why should I care? What does this have to do with anything? And somebody could tell me all this stuff are elements of the game, but I came out of the movie like, Huss, I don't feel like this was part of the game. And so to make a long story short, let's wrap things up. This feels like a story told within the world of Borderlands. It felt like random characters that were just thrown into this world of Borderlands and they're just telling this random story. I had to literally watch other people's reviews and realize, oh, Roland is actually a character. Claptrap is actually a character. Because again, they did not feel like they fit in this world. And that is just a testament to how bad the writing is, Dre. Like the characters did not feel like they were pulled from the games. They just felt like sort of thrown in there and it's just, oh, this is how Lilith acts, so play Lilith. And it doesn't even have the essence of the characters. And same thing with this movie. It doesn't even have the essence of the games. I could tell, even though I never play a lick of the games, right? And the biggest sin, just to wrap things up, right? The biggest sin, boy, is the runtime, boy. Like 95 minutes, Dread. That is way too short. I will tell you, Dread, about 8 minutes of that time is end credits. Everything in the show runs so fast, Dread, and so slapdash as well, too. And I'm just there like, and this is where the whole COVID thing comes into play, right? So clearly things were, is either they cut things out on the leave things.
I heard a bunch of stuff got cut.
Or the real chop up that script, boy. But
yeah, I heard all of that. I heard a ton of stuff got cut. Like it's a bunch of stuff got cut. I heard that.
And you can really see it in the action scenes though, because they really feel really slapdash. And again, and just last thing I'll say, and then I'll wrap up, right? For a movie that is based on a game that is rated M, right? I'm seeing characters getting shot at and blown up, and there's no blood, there's no squibs, there's no nothing. It's just
they didn't try no.
You're just seeing bullets and a man drop. That's what you're doing. In 120 million in a 120 million budget movie. This is what you give them, right? What I will say though, and this is the last thing I promise, right? I cannot completely throw the blame on Eli Roth for this though, but yeah,
there's like clearly a studio failure.
Yeah,
no, it's clearly a studio failure. Yeah, like I don't even waste. Like when you see it this bad, it's not. It don't come together. Because like everything about the failures are predictable failures. Not like Batman v Superman, where clearly everything intentional is on screen and it's still like collapse. Is that it's like, oh no, right, they just half-assed this and they clearly changed the script halfway and they still do this and still left this up in this way. And all of it is on the production.
Yeah. I can't even blame men like Tim Miller because even he and all do a little bit of co-directing because Eli, fun fact, actually had to stop to work on Thanksgiving, which I still haven't seen as yet, right? But the reason why Eli Roth will be the punching bag of all of this, unfortunately, because it just does not fit his overt, right? You know what I mean? Because we know him for grimy, R-rated shit, right? Like this feels so watered down, and there's nothing about it that's edgy or not even schlocky, right? You know what I mean? Nothing about it felt like the Eli Roth that I know from films like Cabin Fever and Hostel, right? So I'm just there watching, saying nothing about this looks like it was filmed by him. There's no style to it or whatnot. There's nothing about it that really feels like Eli Roth, right? So in closing, I'm gonna call one more title thread, and when you hear it, boy, again, you'll be shocked by this, right? At least for all the shit that we just say about Rebel Moon Part 1 and 2.
Oh wow, hello boy.
At least Zack Snyder had an idea of what it is he wanted to do. Man had a vibe, the man had a tone, the man knew what he was going for. It's just he decided in his infinite wisdom, let me get a PG-13 version first and throw that out there to the world, and then afterwards I'll throw the R-rated version. And the R-rated version is out right now on Netflix, and I could even care to watch that because the PG-13 versions suck. And when I want to watch the R-rated versions, I might appreciate them just a little bit, just like the BVS Ultimate Cut, but ultimately it gonna suck just as hard, right? But boy, there was nothing about Borderlands that felt like it was from Eli Roth, that felt like it was co-directed by Tim Miller, that felt like it was from games, that felt, that felt like it was what it was, right? It literally feels like a script from the 2000s, right? Like a post-apocalyptic script from the 2000s.
That's not good.
And they just took and they slapped Borderlands. It did not feel like the game at all. And that's the biggest sin for me with this, right? So yes, I rant long enough, rating-wise, 1 out of 5. Of course, it sucked. I think this might beat Rebel Moon Part 2, Dread, as far as the worst thing I see for the year, Dread. But for me, this is not me punching down and saying, oh, it's bad because everybody say it bad. I saw it for myself, I took it in, and I came out of it like, this does not feel like games, and I'm speaking as somebody who never played the games. This does not feel like an Eli Roth films, even though I'm familiar with this filmography. The actors didn't feel like they wanted to be there, even though I saw people I know like Kate Blanchett and Kevin Hart and Ariana Greenblatt and Janina Gavankar. They did not, and nobody felt like they needed to be in the show or wanted to be in the show. And you really see with Kevin Hart, he looked like shit. What the fuck am I doing here in this movie? I should be working on some Netflix drama or comedy or some shit. Why am I here? Or calling you Rock and say, yo, Rock, let me work on another film now. Like, he felt like, why should I be here, Dread? But yeah, boy, hands down, this is the worst thing I've seen all year. But then again, I have not seen Madam Web as yet. But I do intend on watching that just to see how bad it is. And then I could say, all right, you were right. And you were not punching down because, it was a female-led cast, right? It wasn't that. It wasn't that toxic. But, there was something really bad about the show regardless, right? But in your case, Ricardo, I don't think you ever played the Borderlands games, right? Have you?
Right. No, I played the second one, and again, because Fallout exists, you couldn't get me to give a shit. Like it's that.
Right.
Like sorry to say it, but it's one of those. Like it's just all right. Well, we're doing this, and other games do this way better, and so on, so on, and so forth. And like I not the super biggest fan of the Fallout franchise, but I just couldn't get into Borderlands when it was again not a bad franchise. It's good. The couple of games, but Borderlands was the only one I got into. Played it for a while, stopped playing it after a while.
All right. Well, I would love for you to see this film for yourself on your own time. You don't have to be now, but I just saw it because it came out on video, right?
You put me through that punishment, boy, Lord, boy.
Oh, like, look, it's 85 minutes of your life you're not going to get back, right? But at least you could say you saw it, right? But at least you could come in with the perspective of, I know the world, I'm familiar with it enough so I understand where they dropped the ball, right? But boy, this was a massive letdown, boy. Like there was no need for the show to be this bad, even though the franchise itself isn't as big as it was back then, right? And I'm gonna close this, right? This is actually my Facebook status right now, right? The biggest takeaway about this movie, Dread, is that this came out in a year where we had a Fallout TV series,
exactly,
and a Mad Max prequel. So folks, watch the Fallout series.
Yeah,
it's
watch
awesome.
that instead.
Watch Furiosa. It's awesome.
Right.
Don't waste your time with this unless you're genuinely curious. But again, this year, 2024, the year of our Lord, right? We have a Fallout TV show and we have a Mad Max prequel that deserve more time than this one that this show ever does, right? I'll stop there.